of presidential election results. So let's now link up with NTV's Leila Mohammed. She is coming to us once again live from the Bomas of Kenya. Leila, now with these new rules, is the process any smoother?
Smriti, if you're keenly looking into your screen, you will realize that everyone is standing up on the Azimio side of this aisle, many of them looking perplexed. I haven't been in a position to understand exactly what the latest reason for their being annoyed this evening is. Just from hearing what they are saying is they want the verification process to stop until one of their demands has been met. We've seen several instances where some of their members have raised concerns, and when they raise their concern, they make it known possibly because they create quite a commotion around here, despite the fact that IEBC had insisted that politicians who do not necessarily have any business on the floor or within the precincts should not be allowed in. The IEBC just basically trying to put the house in order and take charge of a process that has gone on for days on end. And this is part of the main reason why the IEBC says they have been put on serious question and notice in terms of the questions that have come up during the verification of those forms 34A and B. And whilst they are making that announcement just to have everyone who really has no business on the floor to leave, and some of these very many numbers on the floor of the tallying center is what has been termed by the IEBC as one of the reasons why there have been instances of disagreements that have turned into shouting matches on the side of one coalition to the other, various desks creating a buzz around issues that the team on the other side that is standing has raised questions around a few issues that they feel need to be fixed before this process can continue. They have not been shy to express their concerns, and they're shouting, as you can hear, the member of Madare of Ruaraka, forgive me, TJ Kajwang being one of the highest voices you can hear in the midst of the crowds, them shouting at the IEBC officials and really expressing their discontent about one issue or the other. It's been seen like this a couple of times during the day, not as intense as what we saw yesterday. And those were some of those reasons why IEBC was insisting that majority of the members of parliament who really do not have any business here need to leave the precincts of this tallying and verification center. And it was one of the reasons why these MPs were not happy with the decision by Wafula Chebukati, who had insisted that he will only be allowing the chief agents, the deputy agents, their aides who are working on these aisles, as well as the IEBC staff, the returning officers who are coming here to hand over their papers to Wafula Chebukati, as well as observers and the international teams from the embassies that are here also to observe this process. So for the moment, the Azimio team seemingly looking like they are not really happy with a few instances, and they're not backing down, really being loud in this hall and catching the attention of all who are here, including the returning officers up there, who Wafula Chebukati as well insisted that by bypassing some of the processes, they can just go straight and hand over their forms to Wafula Chebukati. He also stating that about 124 were standing in line for the last 3 days or so without having presented those papers. 140 plus had already presented their papers, and that had been verified. And they are about 290. So with 268 thereabout. He was worried about how this situation will be. Smriti, just listening into the natural sounds of Azimio team now singing and not allowing the process to go on, and even with the IBC officials stating clearly that there is need for order in this vicinity, many of them insisting that they want to be heard and that their queries and their concerns should be taken care of by the IBC. You can see the team of the boys and girls in blue as well as those in jungle uniform also here just to reinforce the security situation around here. Wafula Chebukati also being quite worried about the timelines and insisting that much of this action takes place between 3 hours and 4 hours, and that is something that they are not happy about. Smriti, maybe I can just take a step back and allow you to listen in a bit into the natural sounds that are coming out of this tallying center. So Smriti, the police officers here just trying to calm the situation down to allow the processes going on at the floor of this vicinity to continue. The chief agents having to sit down with IBC officials on several occasions just to put matters into perspective and to address some of their concerns. So this is what we'll be looking into. As at 6 p.m., about 94 constituencies had already delivered their documentation that had been verified, and those statistics had been read out, and then the situation had quickly slowed down in the last few hours, with many of such outbursts being experienced inside this vicinity here. Former CAS Rachel Shebesh just urging the Azimio team of those ones who are conducting the verification to stop what it is they are doing and to stand up in line with their directions until some of their concerns are met. The Azimio team insisting that everything should come to a halt until what they claim are possibilities of irregularities be checked and confirmed by the IEBC officials. Senior police officers just coming down here to get a better understanding of what their concerns are about. Smriti, again, the head of the police service in charge of the police officers, just trying to get a better understanding of what Team Azimio is annoyed about. And so far, him also only being drowned in the loud noises that you can hear in the background. The loud noises getting even louder, and as much as the IEBC officials had expected that this time around the situation would have been calmed, some of the Azimio team members seem not yet ready to hold back on their demands and their concerns over what they call the transparency of this entire verification process. So, Smriti, we are keeping an eye on what's going on at the floor of the verification center. Much of these scenarios and disputes have occurred once in a while at the floor of the Uchaguzi Center, and we will be keeping an eye on what is seeming to be escalating, but we are hoping that Wafula Chebukati himself can come down from where he is receiving those documents from the returning officers whom he had insisted need to be cleared, because their major duty here was to come and give him the documents from the constituencies and the counties in which they represent. So for the moment, let me take it back to you, but we are closely monitoring the happenings here as they get a listening ear to some of their concerns. So Smriti, let me take it back to you in studio.
All right, Leila, thanks very much. The temperature is clearly rising a little bit there in the tallying centre at the Bomas of Kenya. But remember, the rallying message at this time is a call for peace, patience and calm. No doubt the IEBC will address those concerns. And Leila Mohammed,